It's time for Wave 3 Listens Live on Kentuckiana's first live local TV talk show, all hosted by John Ramsey. This is Wave 3 Listens Live.
And it is a marvelous Monday. Welcome to Wave 3 Listens Live. What else could be right? I mean, we've got beautiful weather. We've got UK and U of L moving on in the NCAA tournament. And we have Seth Stewart here from Brookstone Financial. Makes today absolutely perfect. All right, Seth, before we get into the financial part of the show, which is, by the way, the focus, folks, before we get into that real quickly, okay, how excited are you about the NCAA tournament?
Oh, man, I couldn't be more excited. Those guys played very well last night. You know, we had our struggles there with about 8 or 9 minutes left to go. As you know, it looked like somebody pretty well put a lid on the basket, but we pulled through. So excited for the Cards.
All right, and just to stay on the sports topic just for a second, your son has
yeah.
been playing baseball. I always like to ask about the kiddos. All right, how's your boy doing?
Oh, man, we had a great tournament out at Linden this weekend, and really played well. The Thunder 9U team, man, we had a blast. Friday, Saturday, 2 games Sunday. We have a great group of kids, a great coaching staff, and I couldn't be more pleased with their performance over the weekend. And I just want to say thank you to everyone involved with the Thunder organization for the work that they put in, the time that they put in. I mean, it's a big sacrifice, John, for those out there that have ever been involved in baseball. I mean, they know what a time-consuming sport it can be. So
yes,
we're
indeed.
excited. Yeah.
So everything is going well for you. All right, let's take a look at your finances, and that begins with an interest rate update from Brookstone Financial. Here we go. I'm going to put you to work, Seth.
Yeah, John, rates are looking up at Brookstone. We have FDIC insured money markets currently paying 0.80%. So if you're working with a local bank, you probably know where those money markets are this day and age. Most local banks are around 0.25, 0.5%. We're at 0.8, so the great rates. 3-year fixed annuities at 2%, 5-year fixed annuities 3.25%. 1-year maturity bonds. Now, these are actual yield to maturities. 1-year bonds, 5%, all the way out to 5-year maturities at 8.5%. So, and John, we often ladder those bonds, and it's part of diversifying and diversification. But bonds are okay today as long as you're willing to hold them to maturity. But I would not go out and purchase or commit to buying a 20, 25, 30-year maturity bond. I just think there's too much interest rate risk.
And you're a numbers cruncher, so you're basing that on the numbers that you've researched, correct?
Yeah, it's a teeter-totter effect. You know, when one side goes down, the other goes up. And when you look at bonds and how they relate to interest rates, I mean, interest rates are at all-time lows. They have really nowhere to go but up. And as interest rates rise, bond prices are sure to fall unless you hold those bonds to maturity. So if you have a 401k or other investments and you have bond funds, you should be very careful with being overly allocated in those bond funds with interest rates where they are.
All right. Every week with Brookstone Financial and Seth Stewart, we have a topic, a point of interest. And today it's one you were telling me, you said, this is what everyone wants to talk about, so let's discuss it. Social Security and Medicare. Yeah,
John, I'm very passionate about Social Security in particular. I mean, I spend a lot of time talking with my clients about Social Security. And here's the first thing I'll tell you. You know, when it comes to retirement, a lot of retirees want to put the retirement decision and the Social Security decision in the same bucket and say, okay, I'm retiring, so I should go out and file for Social Security benefits. That's not always the best decision. So first of all, I would warn you that you really need to separate those two decisions. Just because you're retiring does not mean that you should run out and file for Social Security. Now, what we're getting ready to tell you is based upon the low interest rate environment that we're in today. The internal rate of return on Social Security, if you delay benefits beyond 66, is about 8% per year. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't know any bank in town or anywhere where I can park my money and have a rate of return guaranteed by the federal government in the 8% neighborhood, John. I mean, it's hard to beat the internal rate of return of the system. So it's often why we may suggest to clients that they defer or consider deferring benefits.
Do you anticipate that some of the rules or really the layout of Social Security will change? And it's been kind of volatile. What do you expect will happen?
Yeah, I mean, you know, at the end of the day, we have to plan around what we know today and adjust accordingly for the future. So as we develop strategies for clients, and you know, it comes really back to what we do at Brookstone in planning, holistic planning and monitoring of financial plans, it's a moving target. So the strategies today may change 3 to 5 years down the road or better as the rules relating and regulating Social Security begin to change. So again, we have to plan around what we know today and adjust accordingly for the future. But it's all about being being able to monitor and maintain those numbers. And it's no longer a day and age where you can build a financial plan on a scratch sheet of paper or have it in a binder and put it on the shelf and just assume that it's going to be good 6 to 8 years from now. This is something that needs to be constantly monitored, and with technology, John, I mean, it's pretty easy to do.
Social Security and Medicare, are they necessarily tied together?
Well, I mean, I think the reason people want to tie them together is because it's a similar age range. I mean, currently 65 is age of eligibility for Medicare. Current earliest age in which you would be eligible to file for Social Security benefits is 62. Full retirement age, though, for Social Security, if you were born between 1943 and 54, is 66. So I guess the reason is, John, it's a similar age range. It's a similar decision, you know, time in which you would make that decision. And that's why often when we have events, educational workshops, we talk about both topics in the same evening.
Oh, interesting. And speaking of, we've got some of those coming up, a couple of workshops coming up, right?
Yeah, we do have a workshop coming up, and the topic again is Social Security and Medicare. There it is. It's at the Courtyard Marriott at 9608 Blairwood Road, Louisville, Kentucky. It's April 9th from 6 to 8 p.m. If you'd like to RSVP, if you're nearing age of election for Social Security or nearing age of election for Medicare, you need to attend this workshop because you could be leaving a lot of money on the table. Give us a call to RSVP. It's 502-365-9872.
When your team of professionals at Brookstone get together, though, and discuss someone's individual case, it does really depend. If someone has funds or ways they can allocate money, or if folks are in need. So Social Security, it really isn't a one answer covers all kind of thing, is it?
Oh, it's definitely not. It's definitely not. I mean, there are literally hundreds of individual filing strategies when it comes to Social Security, and especially when you're talking about married couples. And here's, let me extend on that a little bit. When I'm sitting down with a married couple and helping them determine when and how to elect or file for Social Security, we put a lot of weighting towards spousal protection. There's not a lot of weighting put toward protecting the surviving spouse if in fact something happens to the primary breadwinner. And when you look at Social Security benefits, if one spouse passes, the surviving spouse steps into the greater of those two benefits. So it's often why we try to defer the primary breadwinner's benefit as long as we possibly can, because ultimately what we're doing is we're protecting the widow. We're building the widow benefit that if in fact one spouse passes, again, the surviving spouse has that larger of the two benefits that he or she would step into.
Makes perfect sense, but there's so many things that we talk about here that I knew nothing about, and I think that's what it's all about. Brookstone Financial, we'll throw the locations up on the screen before we go to break here. If any of this interests you, and it should, particularly if you are entering that age where you're close to retirement, you're thinking about Social Security, you're thinking about Medicare, whatever the case may be, hey, I'm telling you, make an appointment today. More with Seth Stewart coming up. Today's topic, Social Security, and we're going to talk more about Medicare on Wave 3 Listens. We're live. Seth Stewart is here with us. Once again, Brookstone Financial. You can see it on the screen there. Better yet, make an appointment today. This is important. That initial consultation, absolutely free. What kind of things should someone bring? Because some folks are hesitant to really, and I'd be one of them, to really kind of take off your financial clothes. You know what I'm saying? It's a little revealing. On the other hand, there's things you're going to need to know. So, I mean, where do we stand on that?
Well, first of all, I would say, John, bring whatever you're comfortable with. I mean, it's a big decision. It is your finances. And, the bottom line is the more information you share with us, the better advice we can provide you. At bare minimum, we always ask for things such as Social Security statements, the topic of today's conversation, brokerage account statements, maybe 401ks, savings, and so on. But ultimately, we're going to talk about goals. What are your goals in life? What do you hope to accomplish near term, long term? And ultimately, at Brookstone, we're going to help you build a plan that can be monitored and maintained in order to meet those goals in the future.
When you talk about monitoring and maintaining it, it's one thing for you guys to have this information at your fingertips, which is marvelous, but also for folks who really want to keep up with how am I doing, am I on the right path? I love it. This is really unique, and only Brookstone Financial does this as far as I know.
We are one of the only firms in town that utilizes technology to the extent that we do. We use a meter called probability of success, and what this allows our clients is the free freedom to go to their iPhone, go to their tablet PC or their home PC and see a little meter. There it is right there, called probability of success. Now what this is doing is it's tying in current account values from all sources. Now when I say all sources, whether the money's managed at Brookstone, whether it's at a local bank, whether it's at another investment firm in town, we have the ability to pull data feeds from all those external sources and monitor that client's probability of success. So again, John, to be able to go to your iPhone or your tablet and see, okay, we've got a lot of volatility, the market's down 400 points today, just as an example, am I still on track to accomplish my goals? Because what this helps us help our clients do is avoid making emotional decisions, because when you don't know where you stand or you don't truly have a gauge on your probability of success, it's easy to get emotion involved and make some knee-jerk decisions that may not be the best decisions.
You know, what I love about Brookstone Financial is the team that you have assembled, because, you know, maybe you have a friend of yours, and that's fine, a banker or whatever the case might be, who's into investments or maybe knows a little bit about stocks or annuities, but the fact is you guys have a team that can be assembled and go, okay, we're going to give you all of this information, and we're really going to strictly pertain it to your successful retirement, correct?
Absolutely, John. We're one relationship, a team of professionals. I mean, that's our motto at Brookstone. When it comes to things like Social Security, Medicare, investments, life insurance, long-term care insurance, estate planning, I mean, it's just too much for one person to possibly keep track of. So at Brookstone, we do operate on a team approach to planning. I always use the analogy of a three-legged stool, and the three legs of that stool are the legal, the tax, and the financial aspects. I mean, if you pull one leg out of a three-legged stool, it gets pretty unstable. You pull two legs out, you don't stand a chance. So make sure all three legs of your retirement planning stool are addressed, and come see us at Brookstone.
All right, makes perfect sense. Okay, let's talk a little bit more in detail about Social Security. I'm going to say
it's
it
a
right.
tongue twister.
It is a tongue twister. Social Security, and you have a little graph here that kind of helps explain things. As a numbers cruncher, this will help it to those of us who don't think in that direction.
Yeah, we're going to jump over to the iPad real quick and talk about some numbers. Okay, here are the benefits of potentially delaying your Social Security benefit until beyond full retirement age, and the potential losses of filing early. So this scale starts at age 62 here to the left. If we file at 62, we surrender 25% of our full retirement age benefit. So no one likes to surrender. So why inadvertently surrender 25% of your Social Security benefits for the rest of your life? Now, assuming that your full retirement age is 66, this is when we would in fact receive 100% of what we're entitled to from the Social Security Administration. Now, every year we delay, John, you can see there's 8% year one, 16% year two, 24%, and then 32%. Ultimately, we could increase our benefit by as much as 32% by simply delaying for a 4-year period of time. Now, some people rely heavily on Social Security benefits to support their lifestyle. I mean, maybe it's their primary form of income in retirement. So for them, it may not work to delay Social Security. But if you have other assets and income streams to draw from to delay benefits, it may make a lot more sense to consider spending some of that money to bridge the gap to a delayed Social Security benefit. And to run back to the iPad, we were talking about probability of success earlier. Here's a graphic that shows an actual case of someone that came into the office with the probability of success based upon when and how they drew Social Security. Well, I lost my graphic here, but that's not a problem. The bottom line is, John, this particular case, we looked at someone that drew at 66, 62, or possibly even waiting until age 70. Now, when they came in, everyone's got their own plan. When they walked into the office, their plan was to file at 62, and they were very adamant about that. We had a discussion with them and said, look, just hear us out. Consider delaying Social Security. What they found is that 66 gave them the highest probability of success of accomplishing their goals, but they didn't have the extra savings to bridge the gap all the way till 70. So while that 32% sounded very appealing to them, and they're like, man, I want that 32% extra in my benefits, they didn't have the liquid assets to bridge the gap. And that's where you got to be careful, John. You got to make sure that that client has enough money, if they're spending their own money to get to that delay, we're not spending it down, too low. We have a threshold there, and we can't cross that.
Provided you have those extra funds, and provided you're in good health, then it just, to me, it's a no-brainer. It's like delay it as long as you can. Yeah,
I mean, people are living longer. Okay, so as a society in general, we're living longer.
66 is young.
Yeah, it is young. I mean, I like to look at it as young. The older I get, obviously. But as we live longer, this becomes more beneficial. I mean, the break-even age on whether you file at 62, 66, or 70, I mean, the break-even age is going to be somewhere around the age of 80 or 82. So if you live beyond the age of 80 to 82, you would have been better off to delay. Now, if you don't make it, then maybe you would have been better off to file early. But, John, ultimately, none of us have a crystal ball. Health is obviously a concern. If there's pre-existing conditions, we may suggest that they file sooner than later because of pre-existing.
We're going to take a break here, coming up here very shortly, and take a look at those graphs that we wanted to show you. Also, we're going to talk about a rewards program, and yes, indeed, we do have a trivia question. So hang in there for all of that. Brookstone Financial, Seth Stewart, I'm John Ramsey. We'll Wave 3 Listens Live. It is a beautiful day. We'll be right back. Welcome back, Wave 3 Listens. Brookstone Financial, Seth Stewart is with us, and we talked about a rewards program. There are many reasons to call Brookstone Financial for your free consultation, and the rewards program is one. Now, this is new to me. Is this something you all just introduced?
It is, John. Actually, we just introduced the Brookstone Client Rewards Program. These are $50 prepaid Visa and MasterCards for anyone that you feel may benefit from the services and the expertise that we offer at Brookstone Financial. So the source of the referral actually receives the $50 gift card. Now, John, we are limited up to 2 gift cards per person per year, but it's a great new incentive. You don't have to carry anything around on your keychain. It's a simple $50 gift card.
All right, I like that. All right, another incentive to call Brookstone Financial, and here is the big event. Now, you were telling me, I guess one of your co-workers, one of your peers will actually be the featured speaker at this event.
Yes, I will be the co-presenter at this event, but we will be talking about both Social Security and Medicare. It's at Courtyard Marriott, 9608 Blairwood Road, Louisville, Kentucky. It's April 9th, 6 to 8 p.m. Call to RSVP. John, we only have 27 seats available, so this thing is going to fill up quick. If you're interested in attending, I encourage you to get to the phone and go ahead and RSVP.
You've given me a lot of information I wasn't aware of. And if you're not aware of when should you apply for your Social Security benefits, then this might be a good one to go to. Also, Medicare questions, all that'll be taken care of. All right, trivia questions, courtesy of Brookstone Financial. And this is Rocky Sub Pub. Love the view, love the food, good Italian.
Yeah, John, okay, here's the question. How long do you generally have to work in order to one day claim Social Security benefits? A, at least 5 years, B, 10 years, C, at least 25, or D, at least 35 years. How many years do you have to work to claim Social Security?
Interesting. All right, give us a call, 888-800-9283. The first caller with the correct answer. What's that gift certificate good for?
$25.
Not too shabby at Rocky Sub Pub. I love the subs, love the pizza. You're going to come out of there with some garlic breath, though, so if you have some meetings afterwards, you might want to make sure you bring the Listerine. All right. Brookstone Financial, you know, for those who have just joined us, Seth is a guest of ours every Monday. And sometimes I think people don't understand exactly what you do. They go, well, is he selling annuities, or, you know, is he talking about stocks? Is he talking about bonds? Obviously, we're talking about Social Security here. So you do all the above, really. You're a problem solver.
Yeah, we're a problem solver, not product salespeople. I mean, we do offer investment management, annuities, Social Security consulting. I mean, that's a large part of what I do at the firm is help clients consult on when and how they should file for their Social Security benefits. And one of the things I'd also like to mention with this upcoming workshop that we have on Social Security and Medicare, everyone that attends is going to get an informational packet on 2015 updates on Social Security and Medicare facts and figures. Again, it's April 9th, 6 to 8 p.m. Like I said, John, we only have 27 seats, and that's why I really want to push people to call now, because these seats are going to fill up fast. Make sure you attend that event if you're nearing age of election for Medicare or Social Security. And we said this earlier, but if those people that are just tuning in, you got to separate the retirement decision and the Social Security filing decision. Don't just assume that, oh, okay, now I'm going to retire, so I need to run down to the Social Security office and file for benefits. That may not be the best choice, may not be the best decision. But our technology, what we can do is we can analyze all aspects, including the pensions, the investments, the various Social Security elections.
How liquid you are.
How liquid you are. Yeah, that's your loss cushion, your emergency funds. Everyone needs emergency funds, and give you an ultimate strategy. Very few people I see have a plan. They come in with a bunch of stuff, a bunch of statements, and I often ask them, tell me a little bit about your current retirement plan. Here it is. Here's my plan. Well, that's not necessarily a plan. That's the fuel that drives the plan. But you have to have a strategy when you enter retirement. You've worked your entire life for this. Don't leave it to chance. Don't just shoot from the hip. Work with the specialists at Brookstone Financial, including myself, and allow us to assemble a comprehensive, holistic financial plan to minimize the risk that you'll run out of money in retirement.
Well, my takeaway from this week, and it really got my attention when you talked about if you can hold off until 66, then 8%, like you said, where are you going to find out in the market? Yeah. 8% a year. Yeah,
because one of the arguments has often been, well, I'll take the Social Security benefits early, I'll invest it, I'm going to beat the system. And again, 8%, if you run out the math, it's 7.2 compound over 4 years. You can't beat that rate of return, again, guaranteed by the federal government for what that's worth, from the Social Security system. I mean, it's just difficult to do. So you'd be better off potentially to leave your money in the system, earn that rate of return on the money, unless you just absolutely need it. I mean, if it's your primary source of income, then obviously, yes, you may be better off to draw sooner than later. If you have pre-existing health conditions, again, you may be better off to draw sooner than later. But if you're just taking the money and you're socking it away in the local bank, drawing 0.25% interest, it makes no sense. And again, I'm a numbers guy. I can show you the numbers, and the numbers don't lie. They speak for themselves.
I would assume, Seth, that sometimes you'll see a client, someone who comes in, and you really could have saved them a lot of money if they wouldn't have waited. I know that you're going to react and try to help them as much as you can, but does that's to me is a call to action. If you're out there and you're going, no, I think I'm okay, and maybe certain clients thought they were okay, what kind of things do you see?
I mean, here's one thing I see, and this is on average, okay? On average, I would say people making uninformed Social Security elections and decisions are probably leaving anywhere between $75,000 to $90,000 on the table by simply making an uninformed choice. That's a lot of money. I mean, it's a lot of money to me. I'm sure it's a lot of money to you as well. But make an informed decision. Just simply inform yourself. We do provide complimentary Social Security consulting. So before you face that decision, before you walk into the Social Security office, the local office, which, by the way, cannot give you specific filing advice. They can tell you what you're eligible for, but they can't take a look at your entire situation and give you specific advice. That's what we do at Brookstone. So come in and see us, avoid stepping on those landmines, and take that money with you. Let us show you how to get another $75,000 to $90,000 out of something you've worked your entire life for. I mean, you're entitled to it, so get as much as you can out of it, right?
Interesting. Today's focus has been Social Security, but with that being said, this isn't the only element that you handle. We're talking about anything from 401ks, annuities. You guys look at the whole entire picture, very comprehensive at Brookstone.
We do, and annuities are another very hot topic. And here's the thing to me on annuities. I mean, annuities, I try to stay on the fence. Maybe there's no great investment and there's, bad investments. There's some investments obviously carry more risk than others. I mean, that's the bottom line. And I'm not saying annuities are great for everyone. If you're considering an annuity, here's the thing. You have to find the sweet spot of annuities, because the question becomes, okay, I have all this money. Say I have $200,000. Should I put $100,000 in the annuity, $50,000 in the annuity, or $75,000? I mean, how do you know without an overall comprehensive plan, because let me tell you something, there's a lot of people out there that would want to put all $200,000 in that annuity, but annuities are not the most liquid tool in the box. There's a lot of safety there, but there's a lot of illiquidity there, and if you need your money, you need to be able to get to your money.
All right, problem solvers right there as an example. Brookstone Financial. Now, if they go to your website, what kind of information will they get? Actually, they'll get a lot of nice, easy, free downloads as well, correct?
There is. There's a lot of information on our website at Brookstone Financial. They can actually RSVP for the upcoming Social Security and Medicare event, but if you scroll down, you'll see a lot of different topics that we cover at Brookstone and a lot of good downloads regarding those specific topics.
All right, we're going to have an answer to the trivia question coming up, and don't forget, make an appointment today, Brookstone Financial, if you are at or near retirement age. We'll be right back. More with Seth Stewart on Wave 3 Listens Live.